Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for the F1 race here in Azerbaijan. I'm Ben Rwagnation, and joining me on the caster's desk is the incredibly talented Jess Games 95. How are you doing?
I'm really excited for this Baku race. How are you?
We just had the F2, and it was incredibly close. It was really exciting to see the way they were battling, and really enjoyed it. So yeah, look forward to this F1 race. Zerd is currently leading the driver's standings with 68 points, with Mizo, who has a qualifying ban for this race, is there in second place. We are going to be losing a Red Bull driver, so Nicholas Longe will not be competing in the Rwagnation League furthermore, purely down to esports issues, so nothing further than that. But leading the constructors is Mercedes at the minute with 86 points. Williams are currently sat there in 54, and McLaren are hot on their heels with 45. There is the track they're going to be driving around today. Obviously, we are using the soft, medium, and hard compound tyres. There's going to be lots of overtaking opportunities on this track. We know the long back straight after ping pong is a major opportunity for overtaking. In fact, speaking of which, we did see this Overspeed and the Chronicle Pug having a good battle there previously, going through 1 and 2, and they managed to get around the outside just nicely indeed. Overspeed really took it to him, trying to give everything to it, and he ultimately, that's how it panned out. Turn 8, 9, 10, and 11 is where we saw battles going on, where I was involved as we go through Castle in towards the rest of the track race. Tons of mistakes can easily be made there. We are now loading up for the qualifying of this Grand Prix. Now, Jess, I can only apologise. I say it every time. I apologise as if I mean it. I do mean it, but at the same time, I don't mean it when I apologise. So, what's your top 3 prediction for qualifying?
Because I haven't seen the last few races due to other things going on in my life. It's a tough one to call, actually. I would have to say Zerd P1 for full take pole. Then I'll do Martin G second, and I'm going to put Mizo third. Just a bold statement. I don't know how they've done this season, so don't have a clue. I only know what's gone on in the first Australia race.
I'll let you redo your third place pick after I give you this information, because my apologies, I should have informed you. Both Brownie and Mizo both have qualifying bans due to penalty points accrued. So you have to take Mizo out of your P3, unfortunately.
Ooh. I would have to go for. I'll say Brambles. Brambles could have a good shot, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Anything can happen in qualifying.
Yeah, anything can happen in qualifying. That's what makes it so exciting. But this man here that I'm on board with right now, Yoltek, I met this guy a couple of days ago, and honestly, he blew me away with how incredibly talented this kid is. I mean, he's literally 15 years old, and he drives like an absolute professional. And I want to see him push himself even further in the F1 side of things, really take his knowledge again from the other day and just push himself even further. We saw him when I was commentating for him for AUR. He managed to get his first race win in AUR. It was incredible. His pace was just next level, and I think everything he learned over the last few days, I think he's really going to chuck it down today. Do I think he's going to get P1 today in the qualifying? No, I don't. I think Martin G actually is going to take P1 today, purely based on the fact of I've actually caused Zerd to have some sort of mental block on himself, where he just seems to not really have the pace anymore, and I don't know exactly the cause, other than commentator's curse, but Martin G is the one person I can always say he's the guy you can rely on. His pace is consistent, he's quick, there's no doubt about it. And hopefully Baku is the track that works out for him. I'd love to see him get himself a race win. He definitely deserves it, but there are a lot of other talented drivers. So my top 3 is going to be Martin G, Ed Nickturn, and then Yoltek.
Okay, so you've gone for Martin the same as the top 3. I actually completely forgot about Nickturn. I thought I missed him in the lineup there, but yeah, another strong pick from Nickturn. Obviously, he done well last season as well, so he could be one to watch, and he's a very good battler I've seen in races recently, so looking forward to seeing what he can do. And a mixture tyres fitted at the moment, with quite a few people on the softs and quite a lot of people on the hards. Starting on the softs could be a bit of a gamble, but hards could be the tyre that most people will use in the race, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a very fair shout there. Now, I actually want to go on board with Zerd as he is starting a hot lap. So let's go ahead and do our hot lap run here in Baku. So, very hard braking zone in towards turn 1. Don't want to run too wide. He's done okay there. He's kept it just about together. Now, brake again in the lead up to turn 2. Make sure you get a good run out of this corner as it is another long DRS straight right the way down towards turn 3. Turn 3 is quite a tough one because you need to get the right amount of trail braking in order to make sure you keep yourself out of the wall, but also make it so you get the rotation going round. As you can see, a little bit of a lock up there from Zerd, but nothing too tragic. Now in towards turn 4. Nicely, just avoid that curb. You don't want to touch that curb. You can very easily lose control of the car there. Now turn 5 and 6, a very quick chicane. This one's a bit tighter than the entry, but still Zerd makes it look very easy and very surgical indeed. Now coming up towards turn 7, this is one where you want to just get on that curb a little bit. It doesn't really destabilize you in any way, but this is 8, 9, and 10, which is a castle section. Tons of mistakes can easily be made there. We saw it in the official F1 this year, where there was a big crash between Kubica, and then on a separate occasion, we also saw Leclerc do a similar thing as well. So Zerd's still charging. This is the mini ping pong, as I like to call it, because if you hit one wall, you're going to ping pong off to the other wall. Nice braking zone here. It's quite a hard one. You need to make sure you don't lock up the tyres, because if you do, you are in that wall and you will lose wing. This is the most important corner on the track now, as you need to get the best exit you can possible, as you're going to be charging through the actual ping pong, which is here, ping, and now pong, and then leading onto the DRS straight for the home straight to come home with a really solid lap time. And I'm hoping he doesn't chuck himself into the pits now that I've said this. No, he's still going strong. So this is going to be official. He's going to go P4 with a 140.206, and that is on hard compound tyres.
Quite a lot of people are pretty much closer together on the hards already, so it's going to be interesting to see how close this qualifying is. Bremel's another person to cross the line. Is he going to join? He's P2, so that is a good lap from Bremel in the Renault. He must be liking this track. He was so committed going through that towards that final straight. And he did say he had to get it right, and that's what he did. And the only person to beat him is Nick Turn, who's on the soft compound tyres, 138.5. So Bremels, if he gets his act together, he could be on for a very good finish in this Grand Prix. And Martin G. Stude's still doing well as well in P3 with a 139 as well. Obviously, there's still banker laps where there's still about 3 or 4 people still to set a lap time, and possibly people might decide to go onto the mediums if they're lucky. But very proud with how Bremels is doing, and also how the top 4 are just so committed to their laps and then trying to avoid the castle section.
Yeah, absolutely. Forseti again, a nice, good, quick time in there. It's still almost a second down on Nick Turn, but he's right up there in P2. I mean, he doesn't want to start on the soft compound tyres, that's for sure. You want to really be on the mediums if you can, because doing the one-stop from mediums to hards is the ideal strategy. The softs really do just crumble on this track, and that is, that's not something you really want to afford to have going around this track. If you lose a little bit of control of your car and just chuck yourself into the wall a little bit too deep, you will end up with a broken wing, then you're going to have an unexpected trip to the pits anyway. So let's get yourself on the mediums. Let's make sure you're nice and cozy going through. Copy's decided to come back into the pits after, I'm not sure exactly what happened. He's not run out of fuel. He just seems to be really struggling with the car a little bit. So back into the pits, reset himself for another push, and we'll see what he can deliver next time around.
Yeah, but he hasn't got very long to do so, and since he actually started on the soft tyre, it depends on what option he set when we started this lobby, because if he went for the harder option, there isn't going to be enough softs to play with. He'll only have one more lap to get a competitive soft lap time in, or he might just choose a harder option because he may want to go on to the mediums, or he doesn't want to go on the softs altogether, knowing that the softs won't last very long at all. Basically, the softs are like the ultra softs or the hyper softs in last year's game, so if you think of that, they are absolutely very, very hard, and Shadows and Dust, I think, is fitted on the medium, so the first guy onto the medium tyres. I think everyone else is going into the pits, but I can see Yeltek on a flyer, but knowing him, he'll probably dive into the pits anyway, like I follow everyone else. But can we see him do what Rwaggy said and get into a good top 5 position? Only just, he's in P6 and just behind Martin G, so impressive from Yeltek already.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at the hard compound runners, right, take out the soft times because obviously they are going to be exceptionally fast anyway. But if you just look at the hard runners, the gap from P3 T3 onward is so marginal, right down to sort of P9. You're literally talking 0.7 of a second. And even when you get to Yonti, that's only when he gets to 0.8. It's when you get to Beaker, it's a bit further out than that. But that's just, it's so closely knit right now. I want to see what they can do when they do move on to the mediums, which I'm almost certain they will. Are they going to be able to really push themselves to the limit? Are they going to be able to see a medium tyre on P1? I don't think so, if I'm honest, but it would be really good. I'm just praying. I'm really hopeful to see Yoltek deliver exactly what I've pitched him up to do, hype him up to be a really fast driver, and we'll see if he can do it. I'm also watching Hazard, who's currently on a flyer.
Yep, he's currently 15th at the moment, has not set a lap time, and he's just going through sector 2 now, going through the dreaded castle section, and he's one that's also looking to improve as well. And we've seen with other drivers go in the past where we see them not so good to start with, and then they start to improve so much they just become unstoppable. Maybe we'll see Yeltet like that. I do agree with you. I really hope he gets a good result in the Rwagnation League. He deserves one after so long, you know. He's worked so hard, but we haven't seen what Hazard fully is capable of yet. We know Hazard has got a few penalties from last week's race. Hopefully he could be penalty free this race, but I've seen in past Baku races a lot of people get penalties, so it is no harm done. But anyway, Hazard is going to set his flyer now. We'll have to wait and see if it's faster than anybody else. He's on overtake mode on ERS at the moment, and it is a 1:41.0, which puts it, is stayed in P13 for now, so not quite as fast as I expected, but I'm sure he'll probably find a few more seconds than that if he wants to get into the top 10.
Yeah, he's going to need to. I think that's the only thing he can really do, is just find that little bit of extra time. Luckily, he's not going to be qualifying on these tyres, or at least he's definitely not going to try to. He shouldn't be. So regardless of that, he's got the opportunity to be quick, but I've said this before, and I'll continue to say this for as long as he doesn't improve it. Hazard is someone who cannot deliver in the qualifying, right? It's definitely his weak point, but his strong point is he's absolutely clean, he's absolutely consistent for the most part, right? And by clean, I mean penalty-wise. He doesn't often get penalties, he doesn't often cut corners, he doesn't often get involved in collisions, and whenever he does, he seems to be able to bring himself back into the mix again. So you'll see him jump loads of places when it comes to the end of the race, where everyone else's penalties to take into account. But the thing he has to think about is, if the other drivers around him clean their act up, his caveat, if you like, is gone. He's not really going to be able to jump up a fair few places anymore, because one thing he was really good at doing has now just been matched by everyone else on the track. And he needs to find a way to improve his quali pace, and he needs to do it quickly.
I think he's one of those people that wants to try and avoid people's mistakes and keep cautious on the first lap, and then as soon as the chaos has died down a bit, that's where he can start to really push. But I do agree, it does get to a stage where the handling gets better for most people. I found that as well, actually. There was a few people that were slow in the last game, but are incredibly quick in the new game, and are starting to pick up the pace a bit, and that's dropped me down a few places as well. So I can't believe the game has changed for a few drivers in the way the handling works. Some people are doing better, some people are doing worse, and some people are just staying exactly like they are, like Nidturn right now. He's still doing quite incredible and showing he's the man to be at the moment. Still in the pits right now, as he's going to wait for a good time to go on his final lap. He'll probably stay on the softs. I think Volsetti is on another flyer on the softs as well, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do and to see if he can bump it up. 1:39. Not a good lap on the softs, I would say. I won't be surprised if we see a 1:37 pop up anytime soon, and if that will have to go to someone, I'll probably have to go to Nickturn, I think, but we'll have to wait and see for that.
Yep, absolutely, completely agree with that. And you're right about the majority of drivers that have been struggling in the past. There he is. That's what we wanted to see. Volsetti with a 1:38.204 puts himself provisional pole. Now, if he manages to keep that time good and proper, if he doesn't actually have to go out again, he will have to go out again, because there's still 5 minutes 25 remaining of the session, and the track will evolve massively in that time. And considering he's only 3/10 ahead of Nickturn, who's currently setting the pits ready to go again on some fresh softs, he's going to struggle. But if Volsetti can ride this momentum, if he can continue delivering this level of pace, is very easily going to be a pole sitter today, and it would be great to see, because he's not had that before. He's never had a situation where he has been exceptionally quick in comparison to the other racers in the league. Both times he's qualified for the Rwagnation League, so in Season 2 and Season 3, he only just qualified. He was just about in order to actually secure his spot for this this league, which was phenomenal. You know, he's really done enough to get in there, and it would be the real underdog story to see Fossetti take a pole position today. But in reality, there are a lot of other drivers around, and Nick Turn, who's the only other driver who's looking like he's trying the soft compound tire, he is looking really dead set on beating that time, just waiting for him to come out of the pits and deliver whatever that may be. We are, however, in what I like to call the camp for the storm, where majority of the drivers are in the pits, prepping themselves for their final push, just choosing the tires and choosing the amount of fuel they want to go for. Do they want to go for a 1 lap? Do they want to go for a 2 lap? I guess we're only going to see if they come out in the next sort of 10-15 seconds. We'll know they're going for 2 laps. If they come out in about a minute or so, we know they're only doing a 1-shot quali.
Yes, and they make sure they need to get their laps in just right. And Shadow and Dust he's got no time on the board, so he really needs to get his act together. I do believe that's why he's out, and also Just Chilling is out as well. Bremels is coming out as well, so they're going to have advantage of free traffic, which is, I think, is very key around here, as Baku is very tight, is very windy, and very easy to get wrong. As Just Chilling, I think, is diving into the pits. I think he is going to probably go again for his final shot, but if you come out in free traffic, that's really going to help you, and you're least likely going to get involved in getting held up in some traffic, which is going to be a lot harder. So Bremels, I think, has made the right decision, but the track will evolve towards the end, so it is a little bit of a compromise there. But there may be some people, like I've seen in other races, where they all come out at just the wrong time, like all at the same time at the wrong time, and that will make the difference between either getting pole or not getting pole. So
yep, exactly that. So this man here, Wemmels, this guy in the end of 2018 didn't really show much signs of incredible pace, right? He was good, don't get me wrong, he was a very quick driver, but he was not anybody you would shout about. You wouldn't write home to your parents and say, look how amazing this guy is, I want to see him deliver more. This now in F1 2019, Wemmels has completely changed characters. He does not seem to be the same person he was in 2018. This guy has insane levels of pace. He's competing with esports level drivers for race positions. Do you know what I mean? That's insane. I've never seen him do this, and I want to continue seeing that. As it stands, he's the fastest driver that was on the hard compound tire. He's now out doing, I can only imagine, doing 2 laps on these medium compounds. And if he can deliver the same level of performance he did on the hards, I think we might be seeing him up there with the soft runners.
I really do hope so, and I do believe he's on a pad as well, or is he on a wheel?
No, he's on a pad. He's on a pad.
Yeah, and there's not many people on a pad in the Rwagnation League, only quite a few people, and I tried racing on a pad in Baku, and believe me, it is hard. So respect to people that are playing on a pad and want to try and give this a go and try to avoid a wall. And I think Bremels is doing that and showing that it is possible to race in Baku on a pad, really. So you don't really need the necessary equipment to do that. You just need the enthusiasm, and that's what Bremels is showing, as everybody is starting to go out now, apart from Shadow and Dust that is still in the pits. It is going to be crunch time now, as we've only got a minute left of qualifying.
We do indeed. So Wemmels is absolutely charging down the home straight. This is going to be the first medium tyre run that we're going to see for this session. Is it going to be quick enough to get himself in P1? It's looking good. It's looking like he's going to take P3 still. But look how close he is to Ed Nickton's time, and that was on soft compound tyres. So
wow.
1:38.593 for Wemmels. Yes, he sits P3, but realistically, if they were all on mediums, he'd be sat P1 right now.
Yeah, if you think about that, there's not much for delta between the softs and the mediums anyway in this game anyway. So if Bremels can keep doing like what he's doing in the race, then he's going to gain quite a lot of positions, because the softs will start to die. I can't remember when they start to die, but I think it's about lap 7 or 8 where they really start to lose a bit of grip, whereas Bremels could say, see you later, I'm getting that position, and that will really help with the overcut in the pit stops. But we're starting to see everyone that's going on their fly. I think Bremels, I think he is either slowing, no, I think he's not going to get another lap in, I don't think, because he's on low ERS, but quite a lot of people on the fly, and I think Copy is getting a toe from Nicturn there, which kind of helped him now. 1:39.0. Unfortunately, he can't improve. Forseti's binned it, and he cannot improve on the softs. And I think Zerd has done the same. They've done a little bit of a car park. That is interesting. There's a few people still out, ready to set their final lap time. We've got Yawn that's coming off the line now. What can he do? 1:38.5. That puts him P3. Not that very far from Nicturn's time. Nicturn is still out though, still on the soft compound tyres. Watch out for those medium runners. They're going to try and give Nicturn a run for his money.
Yeah, indeed. Yawn really putting some pace in there. 1:38.582. It's so close between him and Bwemels. But here's Yonti now, about to come across the line. Is he going to get up there as well? He's not. He's going to stay P7. I mean, he did improve by half a second, but it wasn't enough to get much further up. So,
Martin G is faster.
Is he going to do it?
Is he going to do it? He's going to cross the line. Oh, he improved on his time. How about Nicturn? He is going to start of set to 3 now. Just seeing what the others can do. Yeltek, he cannot improve. Just chilling. I think he's going through the same corner as Nicturn. So I think Nicturn's the furthest on the lap. So let's follow him. He could be the only one to challenge Forseti for pole. This could be it for him. He's got to make a lap of his life, really. I didn't see what his lap was like in sector 2. But is it going to be enough to beat Forseti? Yes, it is. 1:37. I did say someone will go to the 1:37s, and I did say it was going to be Nicturn, so I did get at least one prediction right in that sense, but not the quality prediction. But what a lap from Nicturn, but well done to Yawn for getting a very good lap on the medium tyres. This is going to be a very good race.
It's going to be insane, absolutely. But here is the rundown after the qualifying session. So, Nicturn and Forseti, they take the front row of the grid. They both did it on the soft compound tyres. And then we get to the nitty-gritty a little bit further down. Yawn, who is the fastest medium runner today, very closely followed by Bwemels in P4, with Zerd in 5th. Copy in 6th with Yonti in 7th. Martin G takes a solid 8th place with Beaker there in 9th. Just Chillin taking 10th with Yoltek in 11th. Shadows and Dust takes 12th with Gooby in 13th. Hazard 14th. Rainbow 15th. And then the two gents with the Quali Ban, Brownie and Mizzo. Now, we can't take them out of the equation, right? They are incredibly fast. The issue they're going to have is they have to make their way through the grid. And it's not an easy track to do. Yes, you have the slipstream. Yes, you have the DRS. But you're also in a situation where if you don't make it happen on that lap, you're pretty much going to have to wait for the rest of the lap before you can have another crack at it. You do have an opportunity between turns 2 and 3, and there is, real sort of like push there as long as you can get it. But if you make a mistake in the braking zone of turn 3, you are absolutely going to have major nightmares. You can't afford to lose wing on this track. You make a slight mistake and lose a bit of wing, you're going to have a hell of a race, and it's just not going to work out for you at all. So, with that in mind, Jess, obviously you've seen qualifying, you've seen the pace everyone else is checking down. And I do want to point out that obviously in quali, it's easy to do the hot laps, right? In comparison to your race pace. In race pace, you've got a lot more endurance. You really have to deliver time and time and time again. You can't afford to make mistakes, otherwise you'll fall further behind. And that's why you see the likes of Maester, who's not racing today. You see Martin G, Zerd, etc. really get it to the top. But what's your top 3 prediction, for the race?
It would be easy to say a Nicturn, but to be honest, he's on the soft tyres, so he's going to have a little bit of a disadvantage compared to everybody else. But I say that he's only going to drop back a few positions. I would say I'm going to do reverse. I'm going to say Nicturn. I'm going to say P3. I'm going to say Martin G P2, and I am torn between Yawn and Bwemels, but I am going to go on a bold prediction. Since Yawn is able to be qualifying the faster the medium runners, I'm going to give Yawn a P1 right there. That's probably a bold prediction, but we'll have to wait and see. As we'll say, he's another person on the soft, so he's probably going to go right down the field, but you never know.
Now, I have just seen that Yoltek left the session. It looked like his game crashed, so I'm not sure if they're going to go for a restart or not.
I will check whilst this formation that goes on. I will check the stewards chat for you guys so you'll be informed.
We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye out for the rest of the drivers. Right, so Yoltek has joined, but he doesn't have his car in the game, so he won't actually be able to race unless we go for a restart. We're still waiting to hear from the league coordinators if we are going to go for it. We'll see. As it stands, though, we are going to have 17 drivers. We should hopefully have the 18th if it comes back. I mean, where did Yoltek actually qualify? I think he was like 8th, 9th?
Yeah, I think so. So that would put him by Martin G and Beaker. So...
Right, where is... Let's have a look where Jorn is. Oh, they're sat on the track still. With
I think
Zerd
Jorn's
right
been
behind
disqualified with the Mercedes of Martin G, I think it was. Or Zerd? No, it's not Martin
Zerd,
G,
yeah.
it's Zerd. So... Yeah, I'm quite curious, because usually if one person DCs at this early stage, then it's definitely a lobby restart, but I'm surprised that hasn't done it yet, really.
I wonder if they know. That's the difficulty. I'm just going to message them really quick.
Yeah, because they might not have got their message on it. Apologies for the slight issues, but we want to make sure that the drivers have a fair chance of getting into the race and making sure they all have their fair shout. So as everyone, I think all the drivers are going away to the grid now. If this is going to be the first time or the second time, I don't know. So we will get a clear message pretty soon for you guys.
Just waiting to see in the league chat if they do decide to go for it or not.
Migrating host.
Yep, I think we have
it's a
decided
lobby
to go for a restart.
And I think just Chillin is saying something in chat, so I'm gonna... Yeah, it is a lobby restart.
Perfect, that's good. I'm glad, because I was really hoping to see Yoltek get something good today, and it'd be really unfortunate to see after such a good start to the actual qualifying, if you like, that it'd be nice to see him actually take that with him all the way through. So we are going to go for a very brief break whilst we get the lobby rehosted. We're just going to play some music for you whilst we get that set up, and as soon as we do, we'll be resuming right where we left off, and we will be needing to do another formation lap. So no damage done, just waiting for that. Be right back very shortly.